I think this might be my new favorite engineer build in Deep Rock Galactic for close quarters combat, like during escort duty, salvage missions, and really just any time I'm trapped in a tunnel with swarms and swarms of enemies crashing down on the team. I just really needed a break from using the Warthog shotgun anytime I run engineer, because I found myself just getting burnt out on the class, playing it the same way over and over again. With this build, I combine the strengths the engineer already has with locking down and securing an area, combined with the power of the electrocution status effect. In this video, I want to show off this shocking build for those of you that really need to break out of the Warthog's comfort zone, but still have a build you can take into any level of content. Hi guys, I'm Legionless and this channel is about helping you enjoy your games more. If you want to enjoy your games more, subscribe to the channel and join the Discord where we're talking about the weapons and builds we love to use. Follow me on Twitter for more content and like this video to help me out. The Stubby SMG has always been a weapon I've enjoyed, but the Warthog is just so easy to use that I've never really felt a good reason to use the Stubby instead until now. Sure, I've pulled it out every now and then to use, but it's never really made its way into normal use for me. With the Stubby, there was a couple things I felt I needed to keep in mind for this build. It needed to make me feel like I was more in control. Even in the highest hazard levels and mission difficulties, using the Warthog made me feel like I wasn't really playing the game, but just going through the motions without very much risk involved with how much reward I was getting. I needed to use something different that gave me more of a personal challenge, but not something that would just be too aggravating to use or overly complicated that combat would just feel frustrating. The next thing I needed this build to have was for it to still be able to lock down and secure an area really well. We all can agree that this is probably what defines the engineer class compared to the rest of the classes in the game, with its proximity mines, platforms that control the pathing of enemies, and sentry turrets that shoot anything that gets too close. The last thing I needed this build to still be able to do was manage enemies and crowd control well in high level content. I can take anything I want into hazard 1 or 2 missions, but if the build was just not going to cut it in hazard 5 missions or in elite deep dives, then it wasn't going to be good enough for me to recommend or use very often. So the build that I came up with is one that I'm really enjoying right now. It hits all of the boxes I mentioned, and I feel like a new engineer with a slightly better perspective of the class. Really quickly though, I need to go over what the electrocution status effect is, because it's what makes the Stubby SMG so unique. Electrocution is a status that lasts for 3 seconds and does a 3 damage tick every 0.25 seconds, so a total of 36 damage over that 3 seconds. Even more importantly than a damage over time, electrocution applies a massive 80% movement speed reduction. I hope you guys just heard a little bell go off in your head, because right there, that 80% movement speed reduction, that's extremely important. That's what is going to make crowd control and dealing with enemies so much easier. Every bullet fired from the Stubby has a 20% chance of applying that electrocution status effect, so in tier 1 we're going to go with upgraded capacitors to increase that 20% to 50%. Believe me, I know that the extra 120 max ammo from expanded ammo bags is super tempting, but trust me, the electrocution status effect is going to do so much more for us, and I promise that you'll still be fine with ammo in high level content. In tier 2, we gotta go with Recoil Dampener to improve the recoil of the Stubby, making it so much easier to control the spread of bullets when you're firing a bunch of shots, especially when you're aiming at anything not immediately in front of you. The increase to rate of fire would certainly help you kill enemies more quickly, since you get more bullets out faster, so feel free to go with that instead if you want, but the way I'm using this build, electrocution is doing a lot of work for me. In tier 3, here's where we can finally take the extra ammo. Expanded ammo bag's extra 120 ammo is just more useful to us than a raw damage buff. In tier 4, conductive bullets is a 30% damage buff to the Stubby against enemies that are electrocuted, either from you applying it with the Stubby or because of the scout's IFG grenade. This is an awesome mod for the Stubby because you can proc it just by using the Stubby. In tier 5, electric arc is what we want to run so we can make as many enemies as possible get electrocuted. What this mod does is that when the Stubby stubby applies or refreshes the electrocution status effect, there's a 25% chance that enemies within 2.75 meters of that enemy will get electrocuted as well. Because of electric arc, more enemies will be getting status effects for less bullets, and remember, we get a 30% direct damage buff because of conductive bullets in tier 4. Now the overclock is very likely one that you probably don't use often or have just never used at all. Turret arc is an unstable overclock, and if you shoot your turret with the stubby and electrocute it, the turret will deal constant electric damage around it. But if you're running Gemini system on your sentry turret, so you have 2 turrets, you can place them within 10 meters of each other, electrocute both of them, and now they have an electric arc that zaps between them. It's literally like making an electric fence that enemies walk through, damage themselves, get slowed by 80%, and it'll apply the electrocution status effect for you so you can then finish them up with a buffed up stubby. The big downside to this overclock is that you're going to lose the benefits of that extra ammo from tier 3, but that's still a really good trade-off. I did want to mention that if you're going to use this with Gemini system, this is not a very good reactionary build, meaning you need to start setting up those turrets before enemies spawn near you, or you won't have it set up by the time they're smacking you in the face. Otherwise though guys, this is a really different fun way to play the engineer. The engineer will still be really strong at locking down your zone in salvage missions if you set up the Gemini arc turrets for all the enemies to walk through. The turrets will still shoot enemies like they always do, and you won't have to micromanage them as much now since Gemini turrets have more ammo because of update 32. Use your platforms to make sure enemies path into the turret arc, place some proximity mines with the turret arc so enemies stuck inside the electricity get hit by them, and you've got such a fun build to use. Let me know if you guys had to change up any of your builds drastically lately just to shake things up for you. If you want to enjoy your games more, subscribe to the channel and share this video with others so they can enjoy their games more. Like this video to help me out, and thanks for watching.